Hey Chem students, so today we're going to go through our first assignment, which will be to become familiar with our e-chemistry textbook and also to create highlighted notes, which will be called outline notes, and also flashcards, and then also for you to answer the questions in the reading. So we're going to go ahead and go to my virtual Bitmoji classroom. We're going to click on that textbook image and that should take you to the link. You should already have logged in the prior video. If you don't have a login ID, you need to go back to that last video and do that. So go ahead and click on continue reading. That will open up our chemistry textbook. And just to show you some features on the side, you should have already gone and turned all these things on so that they're accessible. We're going to move on to highlighting and answering the questions from the same chunk of reading in the book. So I'm going to go back to the very first page, which is page 24. I'm actually going to go down here. And where is it? Let's see. Just go right over to Unit 1A again. All right, now we're going to learn how to highlight. So I'm going to go to this lab button. I do not know why my little shortcut button is not. Oh wait, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you the shortcut tool, and sometimes it disappears. Like I was just sitting here going like, where is my bottom shortcut tool? When you earlier enabled all this stuff under the little lab Erlenmeyer flask looking thing, and you put all the little buttons on, it created for you a shortcut bar, which is on the bottom. And sometimes that little bar disappears, and that's not good because we need our little shortcuts. So you just need to click on the up arrow, sometimes up arrow, down arrow again, and then it will pop up again. So now you can see on my screen that I have the shortcuts. I've already gone through this quickly with you. All you need to do now is show you how to highlight. So why do I use highlighting? So your first assignment is flashcards plus outline notes, which you're going to outline note by using the highlighter. And third, I need answers to the specific questions that I assign. You're actually going to use the highlighter section to do the last two all at the same time. So you want to highlight anything that you find interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little book looking thing under the search magnifying glass, and that is where all the highlights will show up. So it looks like I still have some stuff in here that is highlighted from actually the flashcards, and that's great. Leave those in there. Those are your key definitions that are part of outline notes. Like, some of the things that you should be outlining when you learn how to outline notes are definitions. And so we're going to leave those things in there. That's why I wanted you to do the flashcards first, is that then that will allow you to already have all of the the vocab words done in your outline notes. But now I need to add to this. So in the notebook section, you'll see whatever you highlight shows up in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the color to yellow. Why don't we just leave the green for now as your flashcard highlight color? Well, it doesn't matter, if you already did a different color, but in the future, if it's easier for you to do like one color flashcards, one color the outline notes, then do that. So I'm picking yellow for my flashcard highlighting tool. And I'm going to just highlight important things, okay? So one thing I would probably like to highlight is this right here. How do chemists describe matter? All right, so being able to answer that is an important thing. And we actually did a little bit of this in the flashcards. So if you don't remember, maybe go back to the flashcards to look at that answer. And so you don't have to, but if you know the answer, you can just go over here in the notebook section, add the note, and put your answer, just type your answer right here, and then it will save it for you, okay? And so that is an amazing feature to just have your little notes for everything that you read, and just have it in a nice little scroll. So I'm going to cancel that because I'm not going to add anything right there. But that's what you're going to do. You have already read out loud in your earbuds, on your own. You've listened to this whole thing, so this should be quick and easier for you to do. So now you're going to reread it and then do all the highlighting. Important points, important definitions that have already been done for you. Go through. All right, so I'm going to skip this so that you guys can do that on your own. But here is the first assignment. So I want you to answer the 2 questions on page 25 using the highlighting tool, and then also answer the questions on page 33 using the highlighting tool. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you highlight, if you highlight question 1, come on. All right, sorry guys. Every time you do that, it makes a little note. So I do not need 2 of these. I'm going to delete that. And delete that one. And I'm going to delete that because this is what I'm doing right now, but I don't want it so bad. So I'm going to start on number 1. All right, just leave it. And so question 1, based on what you already know, how would you describe matter? And then you guys are going to answer that. You know, matter is anything that occupies space and has a mass, period. Answering. Submit. So this is how I'm going to grade your questions and your answers. So cool feature here, I don't know if you've processed this yet, but normally you have to write down the questions and then answer them in your written notebooks. This is a lot easier because just by using the highlight tool, you now can it copies all of the question for you. So all you have to do then is click underneath it to add a note and answer the question. Do you guys see how easy this is? Okay, so now I'm gonna go and do highlighting on the second question, part A and part B. Pops up for me. Scroll down a little bit. As you can see now, question 2. Read the section A goals. So you're going to have to go back and read those before you answer this. You may already be familiar with the concepts and terminology in some of the goals. Otherwise, others may be less familiar to you. So don't worry, you're not expected to be able to achieve the goals at this point. But A, answer A and B, which is down here. A, for those concepts or terms that seem familiar to you, write down what you think they mean at this point. So I would have you go in here and say, A, answer to A, period. Because I don't know what you think is familiar and unfamiliar. You're just going to do that. B, also give examples. B, identify concepts and terms that you do not know. You will learn more about these ideas in section A. Okay, so you're going to do A, answer to A, return. B, answer to B. Type your answers, submit that there, it saves it for you. All right, so we now have finished the first 2 questions that are in your assignments, and then the last chunk of questions are on page 33. So skip through this lab, skip. 31 is where we see the key definitions you already did on your flashcards. Same with 32, keep going. And here we have the other section of your homework, which is these 9 questions. Okay, so now is your turn. I am going to highlight this question right here. That's actually the instructions for numbers 1 through 9. So you guys are going to answer numbers 1 through 9 based on these set of instructions that I just highlighted. So I'm going to scroll down till I see it, deleting some little things like H's that popped up along the way. Hold on. These are the flashcard stuff. Okay, here it is. So now it's your turn. So this is what I want you to do on your own. I started you out. Now you answer 1 through 9 by yourself. Now it's your turn. Classify each statement as describing either a physical property or a chemical property. The hint did not transfer over completely, so you might need to go over. I don't know why sometimes that happens, but decide whether the chemical identity of the material does or does not change when the property is observed. So you guys are going to answer questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a simple one answer or one word answer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on highlighting number 1 and delete these little P's that are popping up. Okay, so let me give you an example of how you do the first one, and then you guys will do 2 through 9 by yourself. So tell me with one word, is this a chemical property or is it a physical property? Well, actually, there's 2 words, sorry. So, or you can just put chemical or physical. That's what I mean by one word. So, question 1. Pure metals have a high luster, and the word luster is on your flashcards that you already had. It means that it's shiny and reflective. So, is luster a physical or chemical property? Now, if you remember through the reading, the chemical property means that the matter has changed form. Physical property, the matter is just the same exact matter. Like if it's water, it's still water. Maybe it's just in a different form, like a solid ice or liquid water you drink or steam. But because it's still the same matter, we call those physical properties, okay? Chemical properties means that the matter has changed. When you're trying to decide which way to classify, chemical properties mean that it's no longer water. Maybe you gave it a little bit more energy when you got to the steam part, and it actually split the H2O water into hydrogen element and oxygen element gas. And so now it's not even water anymore. If you do something to your matter and you can't reverse it anymore, that means you changed the property of the chemical structure. It's no longer the chemical. And so if something's shiny, are you changing the matter by just saying it's shiny and has good luster? No, right? That is just a physical property, a physical description about appearance. You're not changing any matter structure by saying, hey, it has a high luster or something, right? So you're going to answer that right here. You're going to say, this is just a physical property, period, submit. And so now you're going to go through all 9 of these, and you're going to answer physical property or chemical property. I also will accept just physical, chemical. So you're going to answer all of those. Now, I want to just real quick to guide you. If it's chemical would be something like, if you're baking a bread, for example, before you bake it, it is like doughy and totally different than when after you add energy and you cook it and it turns into a loaf, right? Now, ask yourself this question. Can you reverse what you just did and still get the dough back? Meaning, I baked it, I put it in the oven, I added energy, it turned from that doughy consistency into the loaf that's harder, more solid, right? If I put the solid loaf of bread in the refrigerator, that's the reverse of the stove, right? Take the energy out, will it turn back into dough? If it turns back into dough, then you know that was just a physical change, not a chemical change. And that helps you define whether you're dealing with a physical property or chemical property. Because in reality, A chemical property is just a chemical change. Is it chemically reacting, yes or no? If it's changing form and it's no longer the same matter anymore, it has undergone what we call a chemical change, and so that's considered a chemical property, okay? And so because of that, cooking dough or cooking brownies or cooking anything that you bake is a chemical change and therefore a chemical property of the matter that you are dealing with, whether it's the bread matter, the dough, or it's the brownie mix before you cook it. And so those are the quick and dirty ways to sort of run through these questions. But I will say this, guys, chopping and cutting or making matter smaller, like if I take a piece of paper and I cut it up, you're going to say, oh, well, can I reverse it and would it still be the same thing? Because you're chopping it up, you can't just get it to go back into the big sheet of paper. That does not mean it's a chemical change. You still have to ask yourself the second question, is it the same matter? If you're cutting or chopping, you're not doing anything to the chemical structure. Therefore, it is not a chemical change. It's not a chemical property. So the one exception to the reversal rule is chemical change is not anything associated with cutting or chopping or grinding it down smaller. That's still just physical changes. Okay, so I'm just making sure you understand the difference between those. So now you guys will finish numbers 2 through 9 by yourself. Once you have this whole notes finished, which will also include on here, this is the way I'm going to double check your vocabulary from your flashcards were done correctly, guys. So for those of you who are like, oh, I'm just going to go and do a screenshot of my flashcards and I'm only going to make 1 or 2 or 5 and they won't have anything real on them, I will double check that you actually did the flashcards, because I will look here in your highlighting section that I'm going to show you how to print and submit into your assignments on Google Classroom. So now I've got all of my answers in here from my questions that were assigned. My reading notes are in here. My flashcard summaries are in here. Everything is in here in this notebook section. So down here at the bottom is a little print icon. You're going to click print. You're going to select this, yes, Unit 1 that we just did the outline notes of. You're going to print. It will bring up a screen that will have everything that you took notes on and every question you ever answered, and you're going to just select, save it to my Google Drive, and then you're going to save it. When you're done with that, you're then going to just go up. It doesn't pop up in another screen for you guys. When you save it to your Google Drive, you then have to go to your drive. So I'm going to go drive.google.com. And what do you know? I just created this. Here is the PDF. So this is the ending of this lecture here, guys, but I want to point this out to you because of cheaters. I can now look at this because you're going to submit this in your Google Classroom along with a screenshot of your flashcards, and I'm only doing that so I can see you actually know how to deal with the flashcard section of the eBook features. Now you can see that I've got my summaries in here for all of my outline notes, everything I highlighted, plus here is all of my questions and answers, plus any of the book flashcards that I did. Like right here, this was a book flashcard right here in this section. Physical property was the question. The other side of the flashcard says, where is it? Oh, it's right here, sorry. These characteristic properties include physical properties such as color, density, and odor. So it's a little, in reverse order, but the point is it's in there. And so this is now what you're going to submit in your Google Classroom. So you're just going to go into your Google Classroom and you're just going to find the assignment, and then you're going to pick that PDF and then submit it to me. All right. What else is this nice for? Because this will now live in your online notebook that you can access on your Chromebook or your phone. These virtual ebooks allow you to have 2 devices that are logged in, and that is it. So be careful, guys. You cannot just log into these on more than 2. So if you want to be able to use your phone so you can listen with your earbuds, I would suggest that. If you want to be able to use your Chromebooks to, submit your schoolwork on the Google Classrooms, do that. They will not let you go past 2. So please, do not access the ebook on some random third device that you never use. All right, you want to use either your Chromebook and your phone, and that's it. And that's it for today. You're going to go ahead and submit all that to me. I hope this was helpful. If you skipped anything or did not understand anything, you can re-watch this video, or you can email me. So have a great day guys.